Steve Peters from Inside the Coaches Room and ESPN joins us as he does every Wednesday on the show. And we're talking Atlantic Division today, Petey. So let me start with this. Is the Atlantic's reign of terror in the NHL finally coming to an end?
Yeah, I think it might be. You're looking at a division that has dominated the NHL over the last 7 seasons. They got 4 cup winners. They've been in the final 7 times. And you go back to COVID where they had Tampa and Montreal in the final. This might be the first season where, and a lot of it's injuries, but this might be the first time that the Atlantic Division is not dominating the National Hockey League.
Yeah, so I mean, right. Oh, go ahead, Hutz.
No, you got it. I guess I think it's just longevity too, right? Some younger teams have come in, obviously the Wings, right? And when you get into the video and you talk about these teams, what are the Detroit Red Wings doing that you see has been helpful to like this team, pushing them to be leading the division at this point?
Well, when you talk about the Detroit Red Wings, they're one of those teams, like you said. I think when you look across the league, it's those younger players, teams that have younger players that are succeeding. And with Detroit right now, it's their veteran players. Like Dylan Larkin has been a guy right now that is leading this team and driving this team and willing this team to win. DeBrincat's got 21 points in 19 games, but they're that mix of young and old. With Raymond coming on, Seider coming on, this team has got that mix that they just seem to be clicking. And let's be honest, the Todd McClellan era has definitely begun here. The first full season with him behind the bench, I think this team is playing with more accountability. And I think that this team is starting to play with more structure than they have in the past. And I think they're coming. This is a team that I think was expecting to be in a playoff spot maybe a year ago. Now it's starting to become a reality that this team has to push for a playoff spot this season.
Well, and what's interesting about them, too, is John Gibson hasn't had the best start to his Red Wings career, and that's probably putting it pretty nicely. And Talbot's been up and down, but even his save percentage is league average, I think. The Red Wings have been getting results without getting high-end goaltending on a lot of nights. So I kind of sit there and go man, if the goaltending starts to come, they might have a legitimate case to hold on to this spot.
Yeah, this is one of those teams that you look at their stat line and you go, they're a little better statistically than they were a year ago, but they're getting wins. And you talked about their goals against right now. Last year at this point, 20 games, they were 3.33 goals against. Now they're 3.16. I mean, it's virtually the same. They're scoring a little bit more, but this isn't a team that's, hey, look at their stats. Like when you look at Montreal, how much better they're doing. Boston, how much better they're doing than a year ago. Detroit's about the same, but they're just getting those wins. And again, we talk about that veteran leadership that's helping them win those close games. And this is a team that I don't think they're going to end up where they are now, near the top of the standings in the Atlantic, but I do think this is a team that's going to be fighting for a playoff spot in the Atlantic.
Okay, so Petey, for me, obviously there's teams chasing them, right? Like it's going to be a dogfight. There's and there's the vet. Obviously the Leafs where they're at the Panthers, but the team that interests me the most is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like how good are they? And is there a legit factor? Like, are they still a heavyweight in this division, in your opinion?
It's funny because coming into the season, the way they finished last year's regular season, and I know they were injured going into the playoffs. I had them in the Stanley Cup final a year ago. Unfortunately, injuries and then Florida got in the way. This year, this team started 1-4-2, and what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with the Tampa Bay Lightning? Well, goaltending struggled, and Vasilevsky underperformed early. He was below 900 in 4 of his first 5 starts, 900 save percentage. Since then, he's been above 900 in 8 of 9. That's been a big difference. Kucherov started off slow. Last year, he had 26 points in 17. This year, he's got 16 and 16. He's slow. I mean, you see Gensel get a hat trick last night. He's starting to come. But Braden Point, these guys have the talent. Injuries hurt them early. Goaltending hurt them early. I still have this team as the team that's going to come out on the top of the heap in the Atlantic Division once all the dust has settled. I think this team wins the Atlantic Division.
And, they've had a couple of years where, they haven't been going on the long playoff runs like they were 4 or 5 years ago as well. That was all Florida the last number of years, as we know. And I wonder if maybe, and this is maybe a dumb way to phrase it, but like a blessing in disguise, is this Bolts team maybe a little bit more rested, rejuvenated? I know they're fighting injuries like crazy right now, but who isn't? But I wonder if that could be a bit of a factor too. Like they've taken a couple years off, we'll say, from having to play into June. And now maybe guys like Hedman and even an older vet like McDonough, maybe they're just got a bit more juice this season.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things here. And one of the concerns I had with this team out of the gate is what I saw from the bench with Cooper behind the bench during preseason. And we saw those fights with Florida, and Tampa was not interested in playing hockey at all. And I was concerned. And then those first couple of games, you look at the body language on the bench, the veteran players with their shoulders dropped, the coach yelling and screaming. And I thought there was a concern there. But now, again, those veterans are starting to pull this team out of the mud. Everybody's got injuries. Hedman's been in and out. Cernek's been in and out. McDonough's in and out. I think if this team can get healthy, I do think this is a team now that maybe rest is part of it. But if they can get through their injuries, this team is talented. They play fast. They play strong. They're great defensively. They check all the boxes. And most importantly, when Vasilevsky is on, he is one of the best goalies in this division. So I do think this team does have a lot of the things that you need to get to try to come up on top of this division.
Okay, so the next one for me, we talk about skill, we talk about talent. The Montreal Canadiens, right? This is a team that has like so many young, exciting, and they're a team for me that when you watch them, it's unbelievable. It feels like the speed cranks up, the skill, but it seems like it's trending in the wrong direction right now for them. Is there anything you're seeing out of their game and where they're at, and like your take on Montreal right now?
Yeah, it's tough. This is again where you talk about the tale of two seasons early. Dobish was unbelievable early. He started off the season 6-1 and 2.71 and an .898 save percentage. That's starting to turn around for him. He is not putting up those kind of numbers that he did early, and I think that's hurt them a little bit. But this is a team that plays with pace. They play with speed. They want their talented players to put the points on the board. Caulfield and Suzuki are off to great starts, but this team really relies on playing fast and offensive hockey. I don't know if they're built defensively strong enough to defend. And you talk about Lane Hudson on the back end. Can he defend? Well, no, he's there to provide offense. The concern I have with this team is their ability to play both sides of the puck. I am concerned long term. Can they defend well enough? Can they keep the puck out of their net 5-on-5? And now they've got 0 power play goals in their last 6 games. So even the offense is starting to wane for this Montreal team. It's a good team. This team was 10 points out of the playoffs a season ago right now. And right now they find themselves in. So are they better? Well, yeah. So don't get concerned yet, but their style of hockey plays into the, hey, we got to outscore you. We've got to outskill you, and we've got to have more offensive opportunities because we are going to give up goals against. So their goaltending needs to get back into position where Montembeault is back to playing the way he did a season ago, and Dobish needs to get back to where he was to start the season. Still a very good hockey team. I just don't know if they defend well enough to be one of those teams that's going to be on top of the standings when the playoffs start.
I guess we should give some love to the defending champions in the Florida Panthers. You know, it's been an average start. We all know about the injuries that they're dealing with. They're missing 2 of their best forwards in Barkov and Tkachuk. Are you just kind of the belief, like everyone is, that, hey, they'll snap their fingers when Tkachuk comes back and rattle off 8 straight wins at some point? Or are there concerns with how Florida's playing?
See, I'm one of those that's concerned. And I think if this was just after 1 cup win, it would be a little different. They've won twice, and it's hard to be hungry when you're full. And everybody in that locker room is going, we'll just turn it on. Their expectations are that this is the bar that we've set, and we'll turn it on when these guys come back. It's hard. And you look at some of their top players. Bennett's not having the season that he wanted to have out of the gate. This is a team that has really struggled, especially on the road. They're solid at home, and they need to get their game going, both home and road. But I do have concerns. The one thing about Florida that you can always go back to is how well they're coached and the style that they play and the smothering style that the Florida Panthers can make it difficult on opponents. So I know that that's in their game. We just haven't seen it consistently this season. And that's why it's been an up and down year for Florida. Yes, the injuries are hurting them, but can they just flip a switch in January and go, okay, we're ready to start? I tell you this, game 1 of the playoffs, if they're in, I wouldn't want to play them. But you're going to have to keep your eye on them between now and then, because this is going to be a team that is going to see those up and downs. And I don't think this is a team that's going to finish in the top 2 spots in this division.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, again, those injuries, and like we've seen with Tampa, there is that hangover of the run that you get on. And the last team I just wanted to question you about, Petey, before we let you go here, was the Boston Bruins. Like, is this, when I look at their lineup, like they don't look like they should be where they are. And it's been a great run. I just don't know if there's any sustainability. They concern me a lot where they're sitting right now in that division.
Yeah, and there's two big reasons they are where they are. You took with the problem Swayman had at the start of last season, where we had the contract issues, and he really struggled last year. He was 5-7-2 out of the gate. This year he's 8-5-0, and he's got great numbers. Yes, that's leading to it. Pastrnak has been absolutely unbelievable to start this season. He's got 26 points in 20 games. Last year he had 17 points, but even more so, Pastrnak on the power play. He's got 12 power play points through 20. Last year he had 4. He is playing like a guy that's inspired, and he is carrying this team offensively. And he's happy playing hockey again. And that changes with the guy behind the bench. And Marco Sturm is a guy that's got this team playing Boston Bruin hockey right now. They're tough to play along the walls. This is a tough team to play against. Now again, we talk about the ebbs and flows of a long season. I don't know if this season, with McAvoy out right now, and you look at this roster top to bottom, I don't know if they're ready to compete with the heavyweights. I think it's been a surprising start for Boston. I think if you're a Boston Bruin fan, you should be thrilled where this team is right now. But this is going to be a tough go. This is a long season, and things start to even out and level out as the season goes. I think Boston's a team that'll be around it. I just think they might, when this thing all is said and done, they might find themselves just outside of the playoffs.
So I'll put you on the spot with this last one, but we're a Bet365 heavy show today. But one of the things they do is they have odds on which division will produce the Stanley Cup winner this year, which I think ties in nicely to what you were saying earlier about just how many times an Atlantic Division team has made the final and won the cup the last number of years. So I view this as a way to basically power rank the divisions. And I'm curious what your order would be. Bet365 goes Atlantic 1. Central 1, Atlantic 2, Metro 3, Pacific 4. Do you agree with that?
I don't. I really like the Central Division right now. I think this team and Colorado, the way they're playing, it's hard to argue with that. And Dallas is a strong team, and Winnipeg was a team that was at the top of the standings a season ago. I really like this Central Division. I think they're the best division in hockey right now with some of the most talented players in the league. I think the Metro is the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, and it's partly because of the start of Carolina and New Jersey. I think New Jersey, again, you said it to start the show, if New Jersey can stay healthy, look out, because they do a lot of things right. Carolina is the way they play. I worry about their ability to win 4 playoff series because of the way they play. It is hard to play that way, not just 82 games, but then try to carry that over into the playoffs. They play one way, and it's full bore all the time. So I think New Jersey might come out of this and find themselves in the Stanley Cup final. And then it's a toss-up. I think the Pacific's there's some good talented teams there, but I think the Atlantic slides in just above the Pacific. And the Pacific's going to be coming. I tell you what, that San Jose Shark team with Macklin, Celebrini, Utah with their young talent, Gunther and Cooley, I think that team's on the move as well. But I don't think that they're quite ready to dominate this league in the Pacific Division.
Petey, as always, appreciate your time. Thanks for popping on, and we'll chat again with you next Wednesday.
Thanks. We'll see you next week, guys.
Hey, hockey fans, if you enjoyed that video, then make sure you hit the subscribe button right here on the Daily Faceoff YouTube. We have you covered for everything you need. Exclusive interviews on The Sheet with Jeff Merrick, all the latest hockey news on Daily Faceoff Live, and you can always get your morning started with Johnny Lazarus and Colby Cohn on Morning Cup of Hockey. Don't miss a minute. Hit that subscribe button.